Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about The Exorcist Season 2, Episode 1. It's called Janus. First of all, actually, it's weird that this doesn't... Remember last season it was all Chapter 1
It
something,
was,
Chapter 2
wasn't it?
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
they've changed that. Although I did notice one of the posters was calling Season 2 Chapter 2, which is confusing.
Confusing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've been playing around with their naming conventions, but whatever. It's I wouldn't even call it a soft reboot. It is a continuation, but we're definitely jettisoning a lot of the characters from season one. So full spoilers for the episode, first of all, by the way. But yeah, we're sticking with the priests, Tomas and Marcus, who are main priests, and presumably Bennett, who's not in this episode, but they mention that he's still giving them information and he's still credited. So I assume he's going to show up. But we're sticking
I
with
hope so.
them going to other possession cases. They're these rogue exorcists in training, or one of them's in training, and they're going around doing their exorcisms. And this episode starts with them in a car chase, and Marcus is trying to do an exorcism in the back of the truck as they're speeding down this dusty cornfield road
This is amazing.
as a cop car is shooting at them because the sheriff's the husband of the woman that's possessed, and he doesn't believe there's a possession. He just thinks his wife's been kidnapped, and that's what's happening. That's how we start off, and I'm like, man, this is actually a lot more action packed than anything last season. We're just straight
And
into
to be
this car
fair, last
chase.
season had some good action sequences.
Oh, it did. It wasn't car chase and shooting
It
action
didn't. It
sequences,
didn't
but
have car chases, no.
no,
Which
no,
makes this immediately. I've got two ex-priests in a car chase.
you do, yeah. Two rogue priests. That's the phrase I like to use.
All right, fine.
The rogue. Extra sounds retired. Not that priests typically retire. They tend to just kind of do it until they die. But um, so yeah, so that's one half of the episode because the main possession of the season is set up in this episode, but the priests never get there in this one. They'll converge, in an episode or two, I imagine.
Yeah, a little bit down the line.
But right now, they're dealing with this Cindy possession where this woman's possessed. And the main gist of this is, it kind of shows that Marcus is still training Tomas, and Tomas is still kind of susceptible to the tricks of the demons and whatnot.
Mm.
But it really goes into this whole idea that he kind of like goes inside to the head, or the demon goes inside his head. But the way I'm kind of seeing it in my head, it's more of a neutral ground. But to go there is very dangerous because then the demon, you're exposed to the demon.
Yeah, it's like an other world. It's like where the demons are from, almost.
It's like a plane of
It's
existence, a
yeah.
subconscious plane of existence.
It's where the demons, they don't need a host. They exist in their actual form.
Yeah, I wouldn't say maybe it's their world per se,
No,
because it seems like it can also be
but
fine.
yeah, it's
But
more. It's closer to their world than ours, though.
I would say it's not their world; it's just a neutral world. But if the demon's in there, they're powerful. They can do whatever they want in there because there's no
Yeah.
rules, because it's just in the head. So we see him get into this world at the start of the episode, in the middle. We see that his eyes go all possessed looking when he goes in there.
Mm.
Marcus is very concerned. And, we can't just end with like the sheriff and that shows up and they kind of interrupt everything.
Yeah,
But Marcus looks very concerned, of course.
and Tomas kind of looks like, when he's literally pulled out of this world, because it's like the physical connection's kind of anchoring him
Yeah.
in it, and he kind of gets pulled out of it, and it looks really uncomfortable, and you kind of wonder, is it dangerous to like pull him out of it in that kind of state?
And he thinks he's special. He thinks he can actually, like, because this is kind of how he dealt with the possession last season. He thinks he's special and that he has a power
Mm.
from God to be able to do this, and he can win the possessions this way. He can, achieve exorcisms by this method. And Marcus just thinks it's too dangerous. So I think that's a big thing we're going to explore this season: is that possible? Like, is he
Yeah.
some chosen one, or is he just believing in it because he was lucky one time?
Right, and I can see it going either way with this show.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Uh, of course, the other main chunk of the episode though was introducing us to our new characters. We have John Cho is playing kind of this lead in this side of the plot. He's a foster father, I guess we'll
Yes.
call him. He runs a house for kids. He's got about what, 5 kids, I think, five, mostly teenagers. One little girl, but the rest are all kind of in your 13 to 17
Yeah,
range.
I think 5.
It doesn't matter. It's
No,
exactly.
no, I was just I tried counting in my head because you said that, and then I had to think about it.
It's about five. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
And we're interested in all these different kids, what they're like, their differences, and of course the big thing for me this episode was like, okay, which one's going to get possessed? Because last season they pulled a swerve on us because it was really heavily suggested in the first episode. It was heavily suggesting the older sister, and then I was like, no, it's the younger sister.
yeah.
This time we've got five kids. And it's like, okay, right, the little girl's definitely the creepiest, and she's the one who doesn't want to leave her room. But that's too similar to the first
It
movie.
is. She has that creepy mask,
Yeah.
which it is creepy.
It's a very creepy mask because she puts on this like pillow slip that's got a face drawn on it to make herself feel comfortable, but it is creepy. And we get actually a really good, nice little jump scare. And I use the term jump scare only because that's kind of what the effect is, not because they actually employ a cheap jump scare. There's no noise. There's no big loud noise that comes.
It's jump scares done properly.
Yeah, where John Cho just closes his laptop and she's just standing there, and it's a legitimate scary little moment.
Yeah, yeah. Those are the best kind of jump scares are where they don't need to telegraph them. It's all done in the camera, and they know they've done it well enough that they don't need to throw in a sting, a big loud noise to get to make you jump.
Exactly. So she was too obvious, especially since it would be too similar to the first movie.
Yeah,
And
to me, I feel like she's too obvious, and then the eldest girl's kind of too obvious as well.
why is she too obvious?
I don't know because she feels like, oh, she's the rebellious one. She's the one that's really outspoken and angsty. So it's like, okay, that seems like an easy choice.
That's funny because to me that feels like it's the least obvious. Because for drama's sake, you don't go to the one who's already a bit of a antagonist. You go to someone who seems more innocent. So to me, it was either going to be the religious kid, whose name was Shelby, or it was going to be the blind kid, Caleb.
Yeah.
Those were the two obvious ones. There was also Truck, who suffers from sleepwalking and stuff like that. So that's sort of because he gets up in the middle of the night, you think, oh, is he possessed? And it's no, he just suffers from this. This is something he does.
He's the one they kind of do the least with in terms of, oh, could it be this one?
Hmm.
Because after that moment, but they kind of dispel that moment really quickly. Whereas, the whole time you're guessing which could it be, which could it be.
Yeah, you're looking for the first sign. And the older girl, V, she tells this story about this witch or something in the neighborhood.
Yeah, the island witch, because
yeah.
they're on a private island.
I don't think it's a private island, it's just a small island.
All right. Well, they seem to be the only people there.
No, I don't think they're the only people there.
Okay.
I don't think, yeah, it's just a really
Uh,
small community. I think there's
Um,
there's no police on the island itself. That's how small it is, but I don't think it's private.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Maybe I misread it.
Well, the boat that was bringing her across looked like a sort of ferry that would go back and forth all day with lots of passengers, so it's not that small.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, and I
Um,
never got the impression they went across the water to go to school.
did you not? Okay. Fair enough.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll show us next
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see on this one.
But it felt like they all just walked to school, like in the morning.
Yeah. No, I get you.
No, I think there's a bit of a community. It's small enough that the main police is off, on the mainland, and they're kind of so. So arguably, what it might just be is that it's small enough that it's just part of the town that's the mainland next to it, but it's on its own. Because obviously later on, the woman says, phone the police, and he's like, no, there's no point. They're across the water.
Yeah,
It's
they're like an
nighttime.
hour away.
Yeah, when the kid goes missing. But yeah, it kind of you kind of get a sense of who all these kids are though in terms of character. You sort of see what roles they're going to fill. Yeah, the older girl V, she's very antagonistic, very cynical, constantly pointing out sort of the trouble of society because she's almost 18 and she'll be thrown out onto her own because
Yep.
she's an adult. Truck's kind of the goofball.
Yep.
You have the religious kid, as we said, and Shelby. Caleb's the blind kid who is optimistic that his father's going to come and get him, but we find out through the episode that his father's not showing up for his parole hearings or whatever. And
He also seems to be the newest one to the family.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
there's a few things that kind of mention it. It's like, okay, he's when he's standing on the boards the first time, it's like it's a rite of passage.
and even the idea that he thinks he's just there temporarily, that gives you the impression that he is just here and he thinks, oh, he'll be back home in a month or two. Like he's
Yeah.
not. Whereas we obviously hear about his father, and it's like, oh yeah, custody's not going to happen, kid, and that's
Yeah.
you're just going to have to deal with that. The only thing I like this setup. I like this completely different setup where we have a whole group of kids and they're going to have to team up to maybe fight the demon at some point. That's a very Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 Dream Warriors-esque kind of setup that I like a lot. I dig that. The only part of the whole setup in this part of the plot with the Foster House that I wasn't necessarily feeling quite away is just the sort of contrived, the social worker is also the ex-girlfriend of John Cho's character.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I just felt
There's a
like,
bit-
it's just TV drama, okay.
I think, yeah, it just felt unnecessary more than anything. Like, did they really need to have a history? Did they need to know each other, really?
I mean, it might play into it later, then they might have something
It might, but at this point, it doesn't feel like it.
No, at this point it just feels like, this is for the sake of some TV drama, so there's some
Yeah.
tension between them.
Yeah, but overall, that's a pretty small complaint.
Because it could have just been that he knows her because he's had to had a visit before, and he's got a crush on her or something. You could have just done that, and that'd have felt more
Yeah.
natural. Whereas this, years ago we were in a relationship, it just kind of felt, I don't know. But hey ho. We do see though that he had a different girlfriend
Yes.
a couple of years ago, because on his not Facebook, whatever he was looking at, the Facebook fake equivalent that was in this, he was looking at photos of some other girl. So maybe we'll see if that plays into things. Maybe that he cheated on her, and that's why the tension's there. Because he's worried that he's going to get like an unfair sort of report because of the history.
Whatever happened, that she's kind of hung up on it.
Yeah. Well, she never actually seems to be, though, to be fair.
She doesn't, no.
No,
She seems very professional at all times.
Yeah, and even when some stuff does go wrong, like the kid goes missing, it never feels like she's blaming him.
No.
Because she looks at the way he reacts, and he reacts like he should, exactly, like, okay, responsible.
She may hold it against him at some point, going, okay, maybe this place is unsafe if there's this well that they can just fall down.
Oh, sure, yeah, that's a fair...
But I don't think that wouldn't necessarily be holding against him personally.
That said, would anyone else have predicted that the blind kid would climb out the upper floor window?
No. I thought we started watching Daredevil for some reason.
He's doing gymnastics.
Crossover time.
But I like the setup of the kids though, and I quickly learned who they all were. I do think, actually, my other complaint I suppose would be the character of V. I think her angst is just a little bit on the nose and a bit too much. Like, I felt like, I get this, but the scene at the dinner table, when she was just constantly bringing up stuff, it was like, okay, I get it, you're the angsty one, shut up.
Yeah, hopefully it kind of fades away a little bit as it goes on.
Yeah, it was just a bit too much. It was just, the dial was turned up just a little too high, but otherwise...
I'll say I maybe didn't get enough from, say, Truck. I feel like he was the one that there wasn't much from him.
Yeah, to be fair though, I feel like he's the only one whose name I remembered.
Well, that's because it's a more unique name, not because of anything that the character does. Like I think all the others.
I don't know. I remember him stealing the bread off the blind kid's plate.
No, that's fair.
That was a funny little moment, and he puts it back because he feels bad.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's a few little moments. Like, I feel like they all had at least enough where I have a sense of who the characters are, and like, if this ragtag group becomes, I can see the little girl. She'll overcome her fear to like help save someone later, probably, where she comes out of a room and she interacts with people.
Yeah, because that's where that creepy mask thing. I think they call it like her brave face.
Yeah.
So I can see it coming into play.
Is she just going to walk up to like the possessed kid, when things are going down, and things are going really bad, and she's like, is she going to walk up and go, well, it's time to reveal my face, and she's going to pull off her mask? I'm kind of thinking like the Joker at the start of The Dark Knight, when he pulls off the mask in the bank.
Yeah.
But it's like a weird opposite where she's actually the hero in the scene. She's actually doing the good thing.
I think it'll just be more one of those things where she'll put on, like, her putting on the mask will let her just go out and help, because it'll be like, no, this is her brave face, and obviously in context here it's also she can go and talk to people, but in context later in the story it'll be now she can go and fight some demons.
Do you know what I think would be an interesting twist for this show? That the person who's possessed after they've been like freed of it turns out to just be a serial killer anyway.
They were just a dick. Yeah.
Like, they still got possessed, like they weren't faking that, but once it's gone, it turns out, oh no, they were just going to start killing people anyway, and that's what's happening.
It could be pretty interesting.
I'd like that. Or maybe someone else in the house turns out to be a serial killer. Well, I'm saying that I think that's going to happen here. I'm just saying, like,
I'm down for some serial killer action. Is all I'm saying.
The idea that there's just some people are just awful, right? And that's just it.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. Interesting thing to explore. But that's pretty. So the blind kid's probably the possessed one. Although I don't think it outright confirmed it at the end.
No, I don't think it did
I
either.
think it implied it more than so than the others. But the eyes thing, like that, could just because he's blind. Because
Yeah.
the possessed eyes is very similar to what some blind eyes look like.
Mm.
So it's hard to tell. But the fact that he was standing over it and he wandered out on his own and almost fell in, I feel like.
And then he didn't know quite what was going on.
Yeah.
Once he came to, he was like, "Hey, what's going on?" It was a bit hazy.
I think that's interesting. I think because the whole idea is the demon tempts you with things like tempting him with his sight, tempting him with his father, like tempting him with all these things. Like he's maybe the one who's got the most to be offered.
Yeah, but they've all got things to be offered, I think, haven't they? Like V, obviously, she's scared of being homeless.
Maybe he'll bounce around him.
Oh, that could be cool.
Maybe we'll get some sort of weird thing where.
I think it'd be a really nice twist if none of the kids are possessed and it's actually Andy that's possessed.
Yeah. I could
Which
see
is,
that.
I mean, I know they kind of pulled a similar thing last year.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
eventually, but that was a
Eventually,
change.
it was a
in the plot.
bit different, yeah. But I think it'd be more interesting. We're looking at all the kids, and it's actually this foster parent who's actually, the possessed one. I think it could be interesting.
That could be cool. But obviously, I mean, our priests are nowhere near this house yet. So I'm really curious as to how they end up there and why they. Because at first, when the episode started, I thought, oh, they're going to deal with this possession in a couple of scenes. This will be like the little one we're just at the end of at the start of the season, and then they're going to hear about the main thing later by the end of the episode.
It looked like he's going, oh, this is the action opening.
But if it's unfinished, it's still there. So I'm curious as to the choice here to keep it separate for now. And
I'm happy with it. I'm glad that they're building to it naturally and they're not just jumping in. And it gives us a chance to build the characters before the priests come and get, and shit gets real.
Yeah, that's fair. And it's not like the priests don't have their own journey to go through. Especially Tomas with his character and becoming an exorcist and overcoming his fears and all those other things. I just one little. This is a very mild complaint, but just when they take the Cindy, the woman who's possessed, into the barn or whatever it is, they break into a barn. There's like a chain over the door.
Yeah.
And they break in. There's a table inside that just happens to have these little loops that's perfect for tying her to them.
That's true, isn't it? I don't know why they're there.
I just thought that's very convenient.
It is, isn't it? Now that you mention it.
It was a small thing, it's not a big deal, but I noticed it, so. One
No,
more mention.
that's fair.
But no, so the little last thing I want to mention, actually, unless you've got anything else, is the Tubular Bells did play at the end, and the last time they played was at the end of episode 1 last season. That just feels like a season opener sort of treat you get.
It does, doesn't it?
To let you know that there is a possession in the house, like that's what the music indicates. I don't think the moment they played here was as strong as the moment last season, because the moment last season was that moment where she looked out the window and it was like, evil's here. Whereas this time it cut to the outside of the house. It was very atmospheric. Don't get me wrong, it was, but it wasn't the same big moment. But it starts playing, and you just it cuts between all the characters in the house, and maybe it is playing with the ideas of who is actually going to be possessed.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it in different ways. So like you say, the first one was like, oh, this is the reveal, whereas here it played it for the ambiguity, which is a completely different thing that it's going for, but it still worked a lot for me.
One of them is possessed, and we don't know which one. Maybe all of them are going to be possessed, like I suggested, but I don't know. But that was my final point. Anything else you want to?
I forgot how much I really enjoyed this show, because obviously it's been a long time since it's been on. I also forgot how much I like the opening theme music, and it reminded me, I'd forgotten again, it's so similar to the Sleepy Hollow opening theme, which is amusing because John Cho was in that as well.
Also, I just want to point out, we always joke that Fox, their format is pretty much buddy cop show where one of the partners is a weird thing.
And now it's buddy cop show with priests.
Yeah, it's just both of them are priests in this case.
It is, isn't it? It wasn't at the start of the show, but it is now.
It's become that. Yeah, that's why they renewed it, because they seen the potential.
They saw, we can make this a buddy cop. I'm okay with it, though.
That's fine. So far, so good. So, yeah, I can't really compare it to season 1 anyway yet. I'd have to see more of it before I can start saying if I feel like it's... But I think, at least here, I thought it was a strong showing of this new house with this new group of characters, and a couple of nitpicks, sure, but I'm into it so far.
Yeah, I had fun. There was, like I said, there was some actual good scares in there.
Yeah, the girl with the mask over her head was probably the best scare of the
It
episode.
was, and I forgot just the demons are still pretty creepy in general,
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
and I just I like the tone still. Like it
Yeah,
still feels like I
I
expect it
liked
to.
when they were out of the well and she was telling the story, and then like Truck was kicking the ball into the derelict
Mm,
house that was abandoned. I had this feeling like this is a good setting. Being alone on this island, with
yeah,
when,
it's, you know when they're all leaving, he looks back at the house,
yeah.
and it just lingers on it, and it's like, yeah, things aren't right
Because it
here.
makes me
It's
wonder
just
here
got a
if
feeling.
if this witch story is actually true. It's just being mixed up with a demon. Like but the story is it's like the legend that spread is of a witch, but it's actually just a demon that's
A demon that
been
possessed a
here.
woman.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty good.
So I don't know. There's some cool ideas at play. Anyway, so that's episode 1 of the Exorcist season 2. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on Twitter at mild_fuzz. For channel updates and stuff. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mildfuzztv, and you can do that over there. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching. This was a good way of crossing over into October, because it's just about to hit. First is tomorrow, so exciting stuff. So there you go. That has been us. So thanks once again for watching. Keep watching TV. We'll see you next time. Have you got any vanilla?